Hello, I would like to anthropomorphize the free energy principle by Karl Friston. It is a mathematical tool that models the interaction between an individual, human for instance, and its environment by defining the human's internal states, the sensory perception, as well as the external states that the human perceives. It simply states that we try to best predict or adjust our memories or plans to the sensory input that represents the external states. We may also act in a way that increases the chances that our predictions match our sensory feelings. In other words, it models a system that seeks to minimize the difference between the expected and the actual sensory input by adjusting the internal states and generating actions that can bring expected and actual sensory input into alignment. At one time point, the internal belief about the existence of a thing, such as another human, is represented as a probability distribution. This means how likely am I to meet this person again relative to the other memories of meeting with this person. This distribution is then compared to the sensory evidence received when you see this face, for instance. We should agree that the belief is a memory or a habitual thought. Now let's say that this person was a lookalike and wasn't your actual friend. Therefore, there is an error in the prediction that you made, and you have to adjust the prediction such that you minimize the error and maximize the understanding of the unexpected evidence. This can be known as learning new knowledge. The prediction error is what we call free energy, which must be minimized. The change between a stable belief or an attractor to another one, such as the updated belief, is a transition that destabilizes the brain as it tries to make sense of the uncertainty produced by the discrepancy between the belief and the sensory input. In scientific terms, free energy is reduced during the non-equilibrium between the initial steady state and the final steady state. Generally, the internal space of beliefs, also called the generative model, mirrors the structure of external phenomena via the sensory and action barrier at a certain belief or attractor. Imagine you can only hear and move. The barrier through which you hear and move in the world is the only way for you to perceive and change your distance relative to external sounds. This barrier is called the Markov blanket, and it is the way an individual interacts with and manages free energy demands from its environment. The mirroring of an individual states with the external states describes synchronicity, also known as entrainment, with the stimuli it interacts with, as demonstrated in electromagnetic studies of the brain, such as event-related potentials with electroencephalograms, EEGs. Moreover, in situations where two or more individuals interact, synchronicity via a shared communication is encouraged in order to achieve a collective belief, also known as a shared steady state. For instance, imagine a music therapy setting. Finally, imagine the space of internal beliefs as the metro map stations. Obviously, not all stations are interconnected. That would be too expensive to construct. But certain stations are more important than others because more lines stop there, therefore making these stations more popular and habitual stops.
Next video will take an overview of the maths of the free energy principle.